Так, так. Что за хуерга сегодня везде, да? Вот, да, вроде, да, пошло. Хм, то, блин, комплюхтер зависает, то ОБС сейчас по какой-то причине решила грохнуться. Вроде сейчас как-то все нормально. Да, сейчас должно быть все нормально. Так вот, в шахте вообще, мне кажется, я сам никогда не был в шахтах. И самое близкое к этому это, наверное, ледяная пещера. И то очень давно я там был в детстве на экскурсии. Но в целом подземные вот эти вот все штуки, это стрёмно. Все понял. И зря там у шахтеров зарплаты около шестизначные. За меньшие деньги я бы в такое говно не полез. Да, и бастовать шахтеры начинают, как только им перестают платить. Я считаю, все правильно. О, все, скайбокс врубили обратно.
Lightning flashed behind the windows of Cauldron Lake Lodge. Tor Anderson laughed and held the steel hammer above his head. Nurse Sinclair was trying to calm him down without success. Tor grinned madly and shouted, "My hammer's up. Here's a friendly poke from Molnir, wench." He brought the hammer down with all his might on Sinclair's head. "We're on a comeback tour, baby."
Блин, еще забавно, что мало того, что песни этих чуваков озвучивали члены группы Poets of the Fall, так еще и самих их озвучивали члены группы Poets of the Fall. И как вот тут не обращать внимания на скайбокс, когда тебя с него атакуют? Вот горы и все такое, кстати, прикольно сделано. Даже не скажешь, что это какой-то лот из 2010-го. То есть То есть в том же Skyrim зачастую хуже все было сделано, но там свои особенности. Так, надо вызвать карету.
Oh, great. Another game over. Just great.
Вот это тоже выглядит очень безопасным методом передвижения. Я бы с радостью на таком прокатился, нет. А еще учитывая, что тут пол вот такой просвечивающий. Ну, понятно, то есть зачем такой пол сделан, с одной стороны, если его сделать целым... Ау. Хватит, птицы. Э. Не-не-не-не. Да блин, не дают мне обсудить пол фуникулера. В смысле, не гендерный пол, а в натуре пол. Вот. Мне кажется, он такой сделан, типа, сетчатый, чтобы, ну, всякая, типа, пыль, влага, снег на нем не оседало, чтобы оно все, типа, скатывалось через него, как, ну, и в целом, когда делают такой пол. Но его прозрачность как-то не внушает доверия, выглядит крипово. Помню, один раз на один дачный участок ездил. Ёперный театр. Быстрее.
Shit.
Так. На один дачный участок ездил, там трубы теплотрассы, короче, проложены над дорогой. И там такой же пол, а под ним трубы, а внизу обрыв метра на 2,5. Не знаю, к чему это я, но просто навеяло. Эх, воспоминаниеца. Хорошо. Блин, тут 4 бутылки тоже так подозрительно стоят. Я подумал, может, это как пирамида из банок, в которые надо стрелять. Нереальные пацаны. Озеро Колдрон, восьмое по глубине в мире. Это вулканическое озеро, так называемая кальдера. Сам вулкан можно считать активным, но он не извергался со времен вулканического землетрясения в 70-м году. И даже с той поры подземная активность была сравнительно слабой, хотя материальный ущерб и случался, но обходилось без жертв. Озеро Колдрон — одно из красивейших мест в окрестностях Брайт-Фоллс и вместе с тем центральный элемент местных легенд. Это популярная зона отдыха для жителей региона. Ну, хоть я, в принципе, понял, что за какими-то собирательными предметами прям в лес можно и не бегать. То есть достаточно смотреть на отвороты и какие-то интересные места. Но я все равно не могу не забежать в этот лес. Давай сначала выйдем с моста, а потом будем драться. Надо было сразу ружье доставать. 24 патрона на ружье, так это вообще красота. Да. Так, секретик. Это кто храпит в ухо постоянно?
Maud had checked all of Stucky's rental cabins. There had been no sign of the Wakes. It was dark when he'd found their car parked at the end of the road by Cauldron Lake. It made no sense. They must have taken a wrong turn, but there was no sign of them, and the car had been there for hours already. Frustrated, Mott stood on the rotten ruin of the footbridge that had once led to Diver's Isle before it sank beneath the waves years ago. The boss wouldn't be happy.
Ну да, и вот этот мод, получается, он же типа... Получается, Алан вписал его в свою историю, ну, просто потому, что он увидел его на причале, на пароме. Так он мог быть просто мужиком, который направлялся по своим делам куда-то. А он вписал его в историю и заставил его быть злодеем, похитителем. Ну, хотя тут еще вопрос, чья это в целом история, и кто изначально чей персонаж. То есть Алан персонаж Томаса или Томас персонаж Алана. Том. Я скучаю по тебе, Том. Я скучаю по тебе, Том. Это ты написал? Том, ты говоришь со мной по телевизору. CW и ТЗ. Я тоже люблю канал CW, там очень смешные сериалы про супергероев показывают. Вот, ТЗ не очень люблю. В универе, когда ты писал всякое ТЗ скучно писать. А вот CW веселый, да. Хотя на самом деле... Так, я вот что-то не понял. Том, он же Томас Зейн, он был с Барбарой, которую забрала темная сущность, которая баба в черном. А Синтия это которая баба с фонариком. С фонарями постоянно ходит и проверяет, везде ли светло. Она типа тоже была влюблена в Тома. И что значит, типа, did you write this? Типа, она писала вот все вот эти послания. А тут вообще I curse you, Томас Зейн. Ну, либо у нее едет крыша, либо все-таки не все послания вот этой вот краской писала она. Хотя, по идее, должно быть все. Потому что тут больше никого такого поехавшего нет. Эй. Ля. А чё это у меня ракетница в руках была? Ну ладно. Да, патроны для дробовика нам дают, видимо, чтобы пока мы пользуемся ружьем, накопить достаточно патронов для дробовика, чтобы потом, когда найти дробовик, было очень много на него патронов. Термос. Интересно, сколько все-таки к концу игры термосов я проебу. Вот, конечно, прикольно получить ачивку за все термосы.
I thought I could make out the spot where the island and the cabin had been. There was a light near it. It had to be a boat. I was close now. I had to get there fast. I dreaded what I would find.
Там, кстати, что-то интересное светится вдалеке. Это, получается, лечебница этого Хартмана, которая на берегу озера? Или это электростанция, где как раз таки Синтия сидит? 3 страницы где-то потерял.
I tried to hold on to Alice, but her form melted away. I was losing control. Dr. Hartman stood in her place. I wanted to hit him, but my arms were jelly. He smiled. It was a reassuring smile, and I hated him for it. I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period. Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now.
Wait! Are you? Wait! Hey, I'm here! I'm coming! No! Get away! Sorry. Please, it's late. The boss didn't know who he was messing with. I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know. We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is. She's probably drowned. We just said we had her to make a play ball. You see? To get him writing for us. Please. Please. Oh. I'm sorry.
Головой вниз. Это смертельно.
Previously on Alan Wake.
Ну,
I'm hunted
дальше.
by the law.
Sheriff, Wake's running. I'm giving chase.
Are you seriously telling me that Ryder just took out my deputies?
A thriller I supposedly wrote is coming true. The genre of the story seems to be shifting. It's turning into a horror story. I was told that Alice had been kidnapped, but that was a lie.
We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is!
Our purported kidnapper was eaten up by the dark presence before it attacked me.
Alan, shh, baby. It was just a nightmare.
Alice. Hartman, I fell.
I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period.
What?
Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now. The shock of your wife's death triggered a mental illness.
No, you lied.
You're suffering from various symptoms of undifferentiated schizophrenia.
Bastard.
It's okay, Alan. Just let go.
I felt groggy. Whatever Hartman had bumped in me was making me numb. I felt like this was happening to someone else. Someone I was watching on television. I couldn't think. Couldn't focus. There were only empty sheets of paper here. No manuscript pages.
На самом деле, отчасти, почему я начал перепроходить Alan Wake, потому что
Good evening, Alan.
Потому что я узнал, что это все очень связано с контролем.
So sure, I'm calm. I get the message, loud and clear.
Why, right. That's the spirit. You're being very brave,
В том
Alan.
числе доктор Хартман в Control тоже присутствует.
I would be more concerned if you weren't suspicious of me. I don't blame you for it.
Big of you.
Now, why don't you come with me? We'll reacquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten. Little walk and some fresh air? Yes, it will do you good. This corridor is for patients. Most of them aren't here right now. Jack took them out for a fishing trip, except for the ones who are particularly
Night Springs The Video Game для Xbox 360. О, Death Rally — это, кстати, одна из первых игр, которую Remedy разрабатывали. Так что пасхалочка. Так, ну и тут Андерсоны какой-то план рисовали. Я сомневаюсь, что Xbox 360 будет работать вот с таким типом телевизора.
I encourage creativity as a part of the recovery process here at Cauldron Lake Lodge. I specialize in treating artists.
I bet you do.
Так, тут какой-то художник, видимо, живет.
I honestly believe we can get this thing under control if we work together.
Лейн.
This way, Alan.
А, он вроде, кстати, тут же где-то стоит. Да, я помню, тоже такой прикол был, как в... Так, как в GTA 4 пьяная камера, да, было, что в пиратской версии у Alan Wake повязка на глазу. Но это тоже, это быстро вылечили.
So I'm just going to say this. Alice is dead.
No.
You're in a very vulnerable state until you understand and accept this. Alice drowned, and you couldn't face that. You're suffering from hallucinations, paranoid delusions, unusual thinking, an obsession about light and darkness, a feeling that everything revolves around you, your thoughts and dreams. Your mind has constructed an elaborate fantasy scenario in which your writings are affecting reality. She has been kidnapped, and supernatural forces of darkness are trying to stop you. We go this way, Alan.
I wasn't ready for another shot, so I went along with it. He had to be lying. But under the influence of the drug he had given me, I had to fight not to believe his words.
It's all in your head. You've been making it up. Apart from the tragic accident with your wife, no one has been killed. Your delusions are just a manifestation of your subconscious mind trying to protect you from the too painful truth. Unless we fight the fantasy, it will return. I know the instinct is to resist me, but think about it. Doesn't this make far more sense than the insane supernatural conspiracy you have concocted in your mind? You're a skeptic by nature, Alan. We both know this. Everything can be explained logically.
Это забавно, потому что вроде как, не знаю, сами я еще не проходил, мне просто говорили, что в Control выясняется, что он вообще супер свинья, и он знал изначально, собственно, через бюро о существовании вот этой вот всей темной мракобесии, которая под этим озером живет, и он специально сюда пришел. За гранью тени, где ты ютишься, сверкает чудо. ТЗ. В память о близком друге и поэте. Интересно, кто их ставил.
Never get tired of this view. Very inspiring, isn't it?
Cauldron Lake spread below us. I could see Mirror Peak on the other side of the lake. I thought I could make out the spot where Diver's Isle had been when I arrived with Alice. Now there was nothing but waves.
It seems there's a storm coming. Funny, I don't recall there being a mention of that in the weather forecast. Well, no matter. This way, follow me.
И да, кстати, вот эти окна как раз светились.
Right now we're in control. Every time you have a relapse, it gets more and more difficult to resurface from the dark depths of your imagination. Not surprising, considering your profession. Imagination is what you work with. After all your nightmares, this should come as an immense relief to you. If it doesn't, why is that? Because I'm lying? Or because you don't want to admit that you're not well? It's very natural for you to think of me as your enemy. It's part of the illness.
I let him talk.
After all,
Hartman
I'm the one
obviously
trying
loved
to
his
bring
own
you
voice.
out of the
His
world
words
you've
echoed
constructed
madly
yourself.
inside my head.
But I
I
can't
dug my
do it
nails
by
into the
myself.
palms of my hands to stay
You need
focused.
to work with me. Once you accept that, we can begin the journey towards your recovery. Come along. Let's go inside. Here's the entrance to the office wing. That's for staff only. You were impressed by my trophies when you first arrived here. I do love to hunt. The great outdoors, man versus nature. It's wonderful stuff.
Pretty damn wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I got you. Got you
Emerson.
good. I'm a real bad dream, mister. You should be afraid of me. Don't want to run into me in the night, that's for sure.
Please, Emerson. Mr. Wake is confused enough as it is.
Yeah, you'd like me to go away so you won't be scared. But you can't just decide what kind of dream you have or when you have it.
Emerson.
Okay. Sorry. Boo. Elbow strike. Ooh, yeah. Get him to the head.
Так. Так, вот это интересно.
This way.
Да подожди, я тут все обсматриваю. Что, зря, что ли, разработчики локацию делали, старались. Сайт alanwake.com, тег номер 3. Секунду. Там содержится вот эта картинка. Ладно. О, еще термос. Я даже не ожидал его здесь найти.
Hartman had mentioned that the power had been acting up. Maybe that was the reason for the generator and the work light on the balcony. The generator hadn't been activated, and there was no key.
Так, вот и бабуля явно своя атмосфера. Кстати,
Oh, hello. I've painted you.
Okay.
I was just struck by inspiration a couple of days ago. Dr. Hartman wanted me to paint landscapes, and that's what I was doing. But now I've been doing these things, a lot of them. The images just keep coming. Dr. Hartman likes them. He has them in his office.
Yeah?
He's very proud of me. He says I'm getting much better. I think I'm getting better.
ну,
Well, I guess I'd better start wrapping this up. The storm is almost... Look at that. I'd hate to be out there tonight.
о, деды сидят.
Come, Alan, this way. Now, you might have noticed the typewriter in your room. You've been writing as a part of the therapy. As soon as you feel up to it, you should continue.
Добро пожаловать в дом на озере Колдрон. Мы окажем вам всю необходимую помощь. Тем не менее, просим соблюдать следующие правила. Попросите друзей и близких заранее планировать посещение, чтобы они не приходились на время ваших лечебных процедур или творческой деятельности. Кроме того, просим вас уважать право на уединение и личное пространство других пациентов, особенно когда они заняты творчеством. Будьте терпеливы, большинство наших пациентов сталкиваются с долговременными творческими трудностями, которые не решаются за одну ночь. Позвольте себе тратить столько времени, сколько нужно. Помните, что вы добровольно соглашаетесь на лечение, специально подобранное для вас. Терапия вовлечения и ее аналог метод потока наиболее эффективны тогда, когда пациент активно вовлечен в их формирование. Если вас что-то беспокоит, не стесняйтесь об этом говорить.
My rheumatism's killing me. There's a storm coming. Oh, what a storm. I hope it wipes this place off the face of the earth.
And these two are the Anderson brothers, Odin and Thor. They had how should I put this? A heavy metal band in the 70s and 80s called Old Gods of Asgard. They even adopted new first names to complete the image of Viking gods. After the band broke up, they lived on a farm nearby. They are, well, in advanced stages of dementia. They're well cared for, TLC and all that. There's nothing more that can be done. I'm afraid that the rock and roll lifestyle has left its mark.
Oh, that won't do. I'm so sorry to cut this short for now, Alan. The power has been acting up. I'd better go check on it. We'll continue this soon. Meanwhile, when you feel up to it, return to your room and try to write. It really is for the best. Don't you think?
I'd like to bash his head in with a hammer. Oh, he'd love to fish out our secrets, but he has no clue. He's not crazy enough. Not crazy like us, Sonny. Yeah! Being crazy's a requirement, Sonny. Who else could understand the world when it's like this? It takes crazy to know crazy.
That's the sanest thing I've heard in a while.
Zane, you're all right, Tom. Hey, we like him, don't we, bro? He's got to go to the farm. The Anderson Farm. Valhalla! We wrote it all down, lest we'd forget. A crash course. All you need to know to get your head right. You need to find the message. Here, Sonny, here's something for you. Gave me a rash, but I kept it safe from these bastards.
My head was clearing up, or according to Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Tom, got any booze on you? Tom?
Zane could feel the poems, taking form, shaping things. As he experimented, he imagined he could almost feel the power surging through the keys of the typewriter. It exhilarated him. But there was fear, too. If not for his young assistant Emil, he would have given it up. But Emil convinced him otherwise. He too had a way with words.
Just lost is all. Baba Yaga got to him too, the damn witch.
До кого-то добрался Джон Уик.
Good thing he's not overreacting or anything.
Well, he's the boss.
I may need a hand here later on, Birch. The storm's bound to make you-know-who jumpy. You know how they get.
Gotcha. The doc's got me looking after Wake here, but holler if they get too rowdy.
I'll do that, Birch.
Hey, Wake, why don't you humor Dr. Hartman and give the writing a shot, huh? The typewriter's in your room. You can get to your room by those stairs, Wake.
Блин, тут значит чувак.
Something's wrong.
А.
I'm not myself. It's hard to think that there's a shadow inside my head. I can only focus on writing. Everything else is a blur. I'm trapped in this cabin. Have been for days, but it's always dark outside. My editor is real. I saw her again. She's not human. It's not human. A dark presence is wearing the old woman's face. She was covered in clinging shadows. There's a hole in her chest where her heart should be. I think I've made a horrible mistake. I don't think I'm any closer to saving Alice. It's been lying to me, using me to get the story it wants, and the story will come true.
Прикольно актерова играет, конечно. Так вот, что это я говорил-то? Блин, я уже забыл, о чем говорил. Он меня потерял, скотина. Собственно, 2 года уже, значит, Уэйк ничего не писал. Жена любимая его пыталась заставить писать, не получилось. И тут этот доктор такой: ты ну, попробуй, иди написать, я же доктор. Это как, блин, какой-нибудь психоаналитик, которому...
I knew I couldn't, but I figured I should just play along for now. It was the only thing I could do with Nurse Birch watching me like a hawk.
Да молчи. Типа... Это как психоаналитик, психотерапевт, к которому приходит чувак, говорит: блин, у меня депрессия. И он такой, типа: не грусти. Мистер, а вы точно доктор?
The white glare of the blank page in front of me hurt my eyes. My hands began to shake uncontrollably.
Everybody calm down. Put that down. Bert, I need help.
Hey, Wake, you stay here. I'm gonna go see what's up. You just keep doing what you're doing. Be cool, okay?
I didn't know what the chaos was all about, but it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
I don't know.
Here's a friendly poke from me, old little witch. Oh, afraid of the crazy brothers, are ya? Not so weak now.
Hartman kept talking, giving Barry the grand tour, clearly proud of the place. He went on and on about his hunting trophies, and Barry was impressed. But he was here on business. He raised his voice, cut through the monologue. Hey, Hartman, where's Al? Hartman stopped in mid-sentence, annoyed at the interruption. He nodded at the hulking orderly standing nearby. The man smiled and clapped a practiced hand on Barry's shoulder.
Барян сюда приехал.
Well, things are unraveling fast, aren't they?
Sinclair looked bad. That wasn't a love tap. The crazy old fart hit her hard. If she was one of Hartman's goons, she had it coming. I had to get to Hartman's office. He had taken all my manuscript pages. That's where he'd been keeping them.
Come out and face the music, Birch! It's time to pay the piper! Maybe you could come out and beat our wrinkled, adult, diapered asses for it.
Деды мне, конечно, нравятся, но бить женщин по голове молотком — это я осуждаю, конечно, осуждаю. Нехорошо бить женщин по голове молотком. Ты, мужчин, нехорошо бить по голове молотком.
The photo on the wall caught my attention. In it, the clinic staff was standing outside the lodge. I knew the man next to Hartman. He was the kidnapper. Hartman had been playing me all along. The markings on the tape said they were recordings Hartman had made at the sessions with his patients. I saw Alice's name on one of them. For a moment, I couldn't breathe right.
Alice Wake.
Now, Mrs. Wake, can you tell me about Alan's problems?
He's more and more out of control all the time. The parties, he's so angry all the time. He's getting violent.
Do you mean with you?
No, not with me. No, never. Sometimes I almost wish Alan would take a swing at me, because at least that'd lead to a conversation he couldn't just march out of. But no. Alan doesn't really sleep. And the work, well, he's not writing at all. He sits there for hours and just gets more and more frustrated. And I can't talk to him.
Yes. Tell me, Mrs. Wake, what would you say to him if he'd listen?
I don't know. I want to say, I look at you, and it's not you. Just some stranger who resembles you. Looking out from behind your eyes. And I don't like that guy much. And now it's all gonna go to hell.
But you don't ever say this.
No. I've tried, but he's not listening. He's too deep in his own problems. Always going on about something else. I'm so afraid I'm gonna lose him. And we're not even talking anymore. He doesn't let me in anymore. He just keeps me in the dark. I'm so alone here, even when he's home. Please help me, Doctor, because I'm at my wit's end.
Well, if you can just get him here, I'll absolutely do my very best.
Yeah, but Doctor, you need to be careful with him. He's not just going to listen to you and cooperate. He's the most stubborn man I've ever met.
Well, I'll be sure to bear that in mind.
Hearing her voice, what she was saying made me happy and sick and guilty all at once. Worst of all, I recognized the words. The phone call from her. It had been a cut-up of this. Just a recording.
Блин, картина этого челика тоже какая-то... Ну, не слишком-то позитивная. Вот тут какой-то дементор. Тут тоже какой-то темный мужик. Это похоже на концепт-арты темных мужиков, которые атакуют Алана. Кстати, карта. Давно хотел посмотреть на карту местную. Так. Это получается... Блин, сейчас даже никак и не показывать. Фонарика нет. То есть сначала мы были вот где-то вот где заправка Стаки. Потом вот чуть ниже, где Elderwood National Park, там как раз Lover's Peak. А затем вот тут правее по карте, или левее, я не знаю. Короче, в сторону озера, где как раз есть угольная шахта, есть Ghost Town, есть Mirror's Peak. Ну да, как-то все вот так движется по спирали, что ли. Все начиналось в Bright Falls. Теперь все вот так вот идет, и против часовой стрелки идет такая спираль, потому что дальше так, вот где ферма этих Андерсонов и АХЗ. Вот там, кстати, вот рядом с мостом, вот прямо вот справа края обозначен отель Majestic, где останавливался этот агент ФБР. Вот сверху на севере как раз дамба, где сидит Синтия. И вот у Уотери это, по-моему, как раз там, где будет маяк. Потому что в конце, насколько я помню, все-таки присутствует маяк.
Hartman wasn't happy. Maud could see it in his eyes. He quickly lowered his own. He had made a mess of it, and he knew it. The shame of failure was hard to bear. He hadn't expected Wake to say he needed more time, and he blurted out 2 days, less than Wake had asked for, to show him who was in charge. But that wasn't part of Hartman's plan.
Женщина криповая.
Let me out of here! Hartman, do you hear me? I'm gonna stew your crazy quack ass to shreds! Seriously, do you have any idea how much trouble you're in?
Barry? Ow! About time!
Barry, man, I'm glad to see you. We need to get to Hartman's office.
It's right next door.
You okay?
Yeah. I mean, no! The cops found me at Rose's trailer, but they didn't hassle me too much. I'm obviously a victim in this, and I demanded to be treated as such. Or else I'd sue their asses. Speaking of asses, that Fed gave me a real hard time, but I had no clue where you were. That guy's crazy, Al. But he let me go, and then I get a call from Hartman, that son of a bitch, who tells me you're here, and I should come pick you up, but when I got here, 2 goons clobbered me and stuck me in there.
What's with the cutout?
I stole it from the diner to piss off Rose after what she did to us. That'll teach her.
Yeah, that's a harsh punishment. Come on, pal, we gotta get going. These were all the pages I had on me. And more.
Alan, please. You're sliding back into the...
Tell me one more lie and I'll shoot you in the face.
Ah, well, it was worth a shot. Really, Wake, come on. Let's work together on this. You have no idea...
Hartman, shut up! Barry, get out of here. I'll catch up with you. Get a car.
Oh, Al, let's just...
Go!
Wake, listen to me. This is a mistake. Don't you see? Together we can create something absolutely wonderful, with your ability in mind.
Совсем маньячная улыбка.
Hartman followed the fall of Alan Wake with his binoculars. When the rider hit the water, he ordered Jack to take the boat to him. The spot was easy to see in the dark, even with all the extra lights in the boat. The flare floated and kept burning even in the water. Jack turned the radio louder as the engine sputtered. The music was rough and clanking. something the Anderson brothers would no doubt have enjoyed. But Hartman chose to ignore it. Wake was finally within his reach. In a moment, I had to find a way out.
Yakalamelé.
I needed light to get the possessed bookshelves out of my way.
Да, нужен фонарь. Ёкарный бабай. А, назад нельзя.
Hartman knew he was no creator. He had no ambitions on that front, and he certainly didn't want to end up like every artist he had worked with here, damaged in ways that were hard to describe, or worse. It was enough for Hartman to maintain creative control and provide direction, to be a producer. That was what most of these people were in need of anyway. Of course, suitable subjects were few and far in between.
Так и зачем было выдавать себя за доктора? Мог бы просто ехать в провинциальные города, а там каких-нибудь молодых творцов наставлять, так сказать, на путь истины. Организовать там какой-нибудь конкурс талантов. Блин. Ай-яй-яй. Блин, теперь у меня есть ствол, но нет фонаря. Подожди, надо обыскать местность на предмет термосов и страничек. Приостановлено. Лорен Миллер, 89-й.
I found the car, but the gate's locked. You're gonna have to go through the hedge maze over there.
Barry, I don't have a light.
Take this, Al. Oh God!
Блин.
Look at the house, Al. Look out!
Ай-яй-яй. Сложность у меня тоже средняя, но не знаю, как-то пережилось. Блин, еще и фонарик-то маломощный дали. Ой, я... Лабиринт. Ну, хоть бы тупички-то бы раскидали бы что-то полезное. А? Гопник в Адидасе. Don't trust Emil. No shit.
I stared at the Viking paraphernalia that littered the area, surrounding an unlikely centerpiece. A full-size stage complete with an impressive sound system with all the trimmings, including a dragon. It took a special kind of crazy to build something like this in a remote field. When the sky split open with a deafening boom and the music started blasting, it felt strangely appropriate.
Кажется, к середине игры я как-то придрочился к местному вороту.
Hartman hurried down the corridor. He had disliked leaving Wake when he was surely at his most susceptible to therapy. But this was not an ordinary storm. Wake had been writing, and he had woken something up in the depths of the lake. Now, it was coming for him. Hartman had naturally prepared for a situation like this. The idiot brothers would keep Wake distracted while Hartman double-checked everything, just to be sure.
Там этот одержимый был, они, видимо, чувака, который у него был с литаром, его тоже превратили в одержимого. Ага, я угадал. Да блин, сраные птицы, отстаньте. Angry Birds, блин. Да, типа не то, что характеризующее, но как будто они продолжают заниматься той же самой профессией, но уже... Ну, только с топорами убивая людей. Ну, блин, могли бы тут забор хотя бы какой-то термос положить. Ладно. Без термоса сегодня, да и без термоса.
Mott knew that Wake was smarter than him. Wake had more money, a beautiful wife, everything. And Hartman said Wake was important. That made him better than Mott. But Mott was calling the shots now. He'd expected Wake to whimper and grovel, but instead, he seemed willing to fight. Mott knew he'd gotten under Wake's skin. If only Mott actually had his wife. The thought made him shiver.
Я только хотел сказать, что выглядит как арена для мопцов. А вот и они. И нет, я нифига не придрочился к местному доджу. Это поехавший.
For the moment, Barry was just glad he had survived the fall. He had been separated from Al, and there was no easy way to climb back up. He told himself he'd be okay in the gloomy forest at night. He would just have to wait for a while for Al to find his way down. Barry turned when he heard the heavy footsteps and saw the movement. The man-shaped shadow lunged at him from the bushes, an axe held high. Barry screamed and threw up his hand. The world exploded.
Тайник. Тут, по-моему, придется держать оборону, пока Барри что-то там делает.
Hartman watched as Wake's features slackened. The man was bullheaded, no doubt. Even lying on the bed, he'd almost broken Hartman's nose the second time. But with a little time, he could break Wake down, give him proper direction. Wake was easily the most promising subject he had had. Well, since Tom, really. Sleep well, Alan, Hartman whispered with a smile. Let me take care of you. He sniffed hard to clear his throbbing nose, swallowed blood, and barely tasted it.
Al! You're alive!
Let's get out of here. Can you open this gate?
Maybe.
Barry.
Well, I slammed it shut when the nasty showed up, and the key fits kind of loose in the lock, so, Barry! I'll find it, don't worry about it!
Давай, открывай.
Hurry up, Barry.
I'm on it! I'm on it!
Да блин. Я думал, я их перехитрю, но гопники в Адидасе оказались хитрее.
Hurry up, Barry.
I'm on it! I'm on it!
Вы чё?
Al, please tell me we're headed for the nearest "You're now leaving Bright Falls. Come back soon" sign.
We're going to the Anderson farm.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. You know what? You owe me big time for this. When this is through, if we make it, I don't care what anybody says, I'm done with darkness. You're gonna buy me a tanning bed as a gift, and I'm gonna live in it.
I'm crazy, but that's fine, Barry.
Oh, you got that right, Al. You're barking mad. You are by far the
But
craziest.
maybe that's inevitable when you deal with crazy stuff like this. It helps. This is happening, Barry. Alice, they never had Alice. She's trapped in the darkness at the bottom of the lake, but she's not dead.
Al, how can you know that?
I know, Barry. I can...
Al,
No, listen. I can bring her back. I can find her. There's something special about this place. The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true. But there's a catch. The dark presence, whatever that thing is, twists it to its own ends. That's why all of this is happening. It's using my manuscript to take over everything.
Al, I believe you.
It happened to Thomas Zane before, it happened to the Andersons.
I believe you. Crazy or not, you're not delusional. Weird shit's going down. That's a fact. I'm on board, man. I'm with you.
The Andersons knew about it, but they were too far gone to tell me with all the drugs they were on. But they wrote it down. There's a message somewhere at their farm, Barry. You just need to find it. Look out!
О, вот и одержимые камни.
God damn it, Al, talk to me!
I had lost my gun in the crash. Barry was nowhere to be seen.
Barry! Barry!
Oh, man, you're okay! Jeez, it's good to hear your voice! I was trying to get out of the car, but the ground gave way! Man, what a drop! Don't worry, your cutout is fine.
Forget that! Are you okay?
I hit some bushes, didn't get a scratch. There's no way you can climb down, though. It's like a sheer wall. Al, there's something moving down here!
Barry, it's a Taken! Use a flare, Barry!
Yeah!
Barry, are you alright?
I'm good, Al! I'm great! Guess you never messed with anyone from New York City before, huh? You're gonna have to find your way around to the farm, Al! I'll be waiting!
Barry, just wait for me, okay?
Al, I'm not staying here! It's suicide! I'm going to the farm! I'm gonna go ahead and secure the area! You can catch up! Don't worry about it! I'm on the case!
Now he's Rambo. This would turn into a disaster if I didn't catch up with Barry.
Так, я не знаю, успели пройти ферму. Потому что нужно будет уходить где-нибудь через полчаса, час. Не знаю, сколько проходится ферма по длительности. Это ты чё? У меня же даже фонаря нет. Да погодите, мне еще даже фонарь не дали.
When he stopped the car at the Anderson farm, Walter felt relieved. Oblivion was close at hand. The brothers wouldn't miss a jar of moonshine or two in the booby hatch. But then he saw the man on the porch, and he knew who it was. Driving for his life and knowing it was useless, he didn't realize he was crying until he couldn't see the road for the tears.
Уолтер. Уолтер — это тот алкаш, которого держали в тюрячке за то, что он кого-то типа отмудохал по пьяни. Отстаньте от меня. Сначала дайте мне хоть чуть фонарь там. Да без фонаря кидаться в человека говном. Вообще не по-христиански.
Shadows crawled over the gate. I needed a light to destroy them to get through. Agent Nightingale stared at the passed out rider. The man was sleeping off one hell of a night. Nightingale felt a stab of envy at Wake's oblivion, but he had a job to do. He put the gun to Wake's head and almost became a murderer. His hand shook and his throat felt tight and dry. Biting his teeth, he tried again to pull the trigger. He lost the nerve. Wake stirred. Nightingale would have to settle for an arrest. I hoped there'd still be a working generator somewhere around here to power up the old lights by the gate.
Что ты делаешь?
I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice.
Опять маломощный, без батареек. Плохо. Лучше, чем ни хрена иду, ни Кулакова, конечно. Мне кажется, хана, да.
I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice.
С тобой ферму я, наверное, проходить сегодня не буду, но до нее доберусь. Как минимум. Да блин, как так? Второй-то раз. Давай, убивай ее уже. Я недостоин, я второй раз промахнулся на одном и том же моменте. А если завести его, то можно красиво пройти, и все будет хорошо. А сейчас они у меня попали на этом этапе. Ага. Красиво. Эх, хер с ним, бежим дальше. Нет.
I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice.
Насрать, бежим. Вообще ни в один тайминг не попал. Ха-ха-ха. Интересно, что бы завелось, если бы...
A car was driving away from the farm, headed in the same general direction as I was. For all I knew, it was Barry, caught in the consequences of leaping before looking.
Чем я говорил-то опять? А, интересно, что было бы, если бы завели генератор? Наверное, какой-нибудь свет бы включился, было бы легче, но пофиг, ладно, так прошли и прошли. Мощный фонарик, кстати, дали.
The car was heading for the cabin up ahead. It wasn't far. If it was Barry, I would see the damage soon.
I'm trying to deliver each page to the right time and place. I'm trying to show you how the story goes.
I had seen glimpses of the light before. I had seen it in my dream. It was a strange spaceman or a diver in a bulky suit. He was the one who'd been placing the pages on my path. The dark presence followed the choreography laid out to it in the manuscript, growing stronger and stronger, moving like a storm from one scene of destruction to the next. But it was still bound to follow the story and chained to the dark place it came from. When the story reached the end it longed for, it would finally be free.
Так, тут расставили медвежьих капканов, но хорошо, что я не медведь, поэтому на меня такие капканы не действуют. Так. Садится. Заводи сразу, а?
Someone had left a gun behind. Now I had a fighting chance of reaching the farm.
Так, я сверху видел термос. Как туда забраться? Так, что там со
The
страницей?
storm raged on as the Anderson brothers walked unsteadily away from the clinic with the other patients in tow, knowing that this time they wouldn't return. The darkness around them seethed with horrors, but Tor and Odin were unafraid. Their eyes glinted with guile. They knew every secret path, and there was blood on their hands. They had fought these shades before.
Они сами, интересно, могут в капканы наступить? Блин, эти капканы так светятся, я к каждому капкану хочу подбежать, потому что думаю, что это страница. Не выбрасывайте капканы в лесу. Алан и Вейк думают, что это страницы, сбегаются и попадают в них. Эти бомжей. Добегать и валить. Хватит. Хватит. Хватит! Без себя.
I could see the car, but there was no sight of the driver.
Hello? Anybody here? Barry? No! Danny, you're not! Please! What are you? No, don't! I'm sorry!
Из той страницы мы уже знаем, что это Уолтер.
I know you. You were in jail the other day.
I went to the farm again for the moonshine, you know? It makes you see. They're not gonna miss it. They're in the loony bin. But my buddy, Danny, I lost him. Something's gone wrong with him. It's not him. Like a real bad follow-up to a real good movie. The best friend's something bad guy who wrote this crap anyway.
I've run through every possible course in my head. If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story, and it's going to kill her, and me, and everybody in this town. No one will survive. Darkness will consume everything. This is what it's wanted all along. It will be free, unstoppable. It used Alice to get to me, dangled her in front of me to keep me going. It was never going to release her. I'm going to change this. I'll escape. I've written myself into the story. I'm now the protagonist. This feels like a terrible risk, but it's the only way to save Alice. I'll be bound by the events of the story just as much as anyone else who's been woven into it. The story must stay true for this to work. There have to be victims along the way, near escapes, cliffhangers. In a horror story, it can't be certain that the hero will succeed or even survive. He almost has to die. I'll write my own escape into the story next. I need help. Zane's going to be the one who will help me. I'll make it happen.
Угу. Уолтер погиб.
Let me guess. Danny, huh? The farm was still a good distance away. I'd need a car to get there fast. For a moment, Hartman considered strangling the idiot. Mott was mean-spirited, but easily manipulated, an emotional infant who lived for his approval. Wake, by contrast, was a far more difficult subject. Mott had given him too much leash. In 2 days, who knew what could happen? Hartman would have to find a way to rein him in, and quickly.
Так, ладно, сейчас найти какой-нибудь... Что-нибудь похожее на внятный чекпоинт.
He was probably in trouble down at the farm. For a moment, I felt bad for doubting him. After all, I made it this far myself. But Barry was Barry.
Сколько термосов я уже нашел? 49, половину. Нормально. Вот туда еще на вышку надо заехать. И вот в этот домик. Явно тоже что-то интересное присутствует. Да, я уже чувствую, тут потом заспавнятся очень интересные мопцы. Не, 100% не выйдет, но стремиться-то надо. Там ачивки дают и за чуть меньше получения. Тем более, что, например, вот эти вот нули, то есть будильник и картонные фигуры из серии Night Springs, это как раз из последних 2 эпизодов, которые выходили как DLC на Xbox. Тут они вшиты в основную игру, но в любом случае это последние 2 главы. По крайней мере, насколько я это помню. Может оно и не так. Так, подожди, я ж только что гранату находил. Тут можно было на машине проехать, не так ли? Я чё-то пешкодрапом пошел. Ну, это как в Инквизиции. Я постоянно забываю, что у меня есть лошадь. Нет, я же еще до вышка пошел. До вышка-то пешком прогуляюсь. До фермы-то понятное дело. До фермы-то ясен фиг. Поеду на машине. Но до вышка-то хватит. Так, 2 пули в дробовике, охотничье ружье, 5 пуль. Ну, то есть 14. Явно лучше.
Well, as I'm sure everyone's noticed, that storm we all felt coming is finally here. The boys at the Weather Service reckon it'll last until morning at the very least. Pertaining to that, let me read that missing persons alert again. The Sheriff's Department's still looking for a Caucasian woman, 30 years old, slim and blonde with blue eyes. She may be lost in the woods, and it's possible she's been injured in a car accident. If you see her, please make sure you get her indoors and call the sheriff. It's bad weather to be caught out in, so if you see someone in the area who maybe looks a little confused, give him a hand, all right? This is Pat Maine on KBF FM, hoping you're all safe and warm tonight.
Okay. Да нет, тут ничего нет. Да, зеркало, бля. Так, вот там был домик, вот там была вышка. Все, сейчас вроде как до фермы уже ничего не осталось. Ёлка. Блин, ну, управление машинами у них было явно не в приоритете при разработке этой игры. Да вы шутите. Так, и вот на этом я, наверное, сваливаю. Дальше уже ферма, дальше надо будет концерт запускать. И это уже очень долго, я уже на сегодня, к сожалению, не успею. 50-й термос, конечно, бы забрать, я уже видел, что он там стоит, но ладно, в следующий раз. В следующий раз... Чё, вон, радиопрограмма еще 10 из 11. Телепрограмма 10 из 14. Молодежь, я считаю. Ладно, продолжу когда-нибудь завтра. Конкретно завтра я не знаю. Потому что сейчас иду на день рождения к другу. Может быть, завтра буду с Бодуна. Ну, по ББ Гранд Пофрост и всем ББ.